Here is a short introduction to nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication, the definition, of course, is human action and behavior and the corresponding meaning that is attached to behavior. In other words, we're talking about everything but words. The last chapter we focused on words, language, and meaning and how that all works in our mind. Of course, a big part of meaning is also the nonverbal side of communication. When we say everything that is attached to behavior is related to meaning, we're talking about not only body language or gestures or eye contact, but everything that's visually nonverbal that we do to communicate. Whether we walk into the room or not, how close we stand to someone, the vocal qualities of our voice that are not the words themselves. In other words, the inflections that I use. Am I asking a question or am I making a statement? All of these things are nonverbal communication. Facial expressions, our manner of dress. So there's a lot of territory in this chapter. Pay attention to nonverbal communication for a lot of various reasons. The first and most important is there's a lot of information that is exchanged through the non-linguistic signs that we use. So my nuances of vocal use or facial expressions might clue someone in that I'm trying to tell a joke whenever I tell them, gosh, you look like you're really awake today, right? Meaning that they look like they're really tired, right? It will help us to draw more accurate conclusions if we pay very close attention to nonverbals and we attempt to interpret them accordingly. We also increase the amount of sensitivity to nuances of meaning, and we let other people know that we're paying very close attention to them when we pay attention to nonverbal communication. The last side of this slide, nonverbal communication is stronger than verbal communication, can be illustrated by the research of Dr. Albert Mehrabian. This research was done in the early 1970s, and if you look at the statistics at the bottom of the slide, they say that only 7% of meaning in communication comes from the words that we speak. Now this, of course, is in face-to-face interactions, right? 55% of the meaning that we get from those face-to-face interactions comes from things like facial expressions, posture, the body language of the person, the way that they're dressed, their status, their stature, the context in which the communication is taking place, and the remaining 38% vocal qualities. How did we say what we said? And did we say it lightly, jokingly? Did we add some nuance of meaning? Did we emphasize a certain word? So the words themselves, I guess you can go back to the chapter on meaning and language and keep in mind that one word can have multiple meanings, and so having a context and hearing how the person says it clues us in to all the nonverbal possibilities that help us draw a more accurate conclusion. So this is just an introduction to nonverbal communication. Be sure to dig into the rest of the material that I've posted here for you, and I hope you enjoy learning a great deal about nonverbal communication.